Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to day 17 of 31 Days Strange. So today is going to be sort of a continuation in the fortune telling type of thing. Yesterday I showed for day 16 some teacups in my recent acquisitions in my collection for my love of teacups and collecting and tea itself, and of course for divination. So that married both. So if you haven't watched it, check that out from yesterday. Today's going to be another thing with the fortune telling aspect of that. Another thing that I have in my collection that I got last year, or and you may look back at last year's videos where I wasn't kind of showing myself and different things in that, but I did have like 2 videos showing hauls. If you want to go back and check that, believe it was between July and September of 2023. Trying to go back and look. They were from the witchy estate sale is what we coined it. It was an estate sale that at the time one of my coworkers told me about, who is also a practitioner, him and his partner is. And so at that time I was working with him. And so he informed me, because of course when we were working together at one point on a team, we were our desk, he was sat in front of me. So we obviously shared our love for crystals and some general witchy knowledge, etc. So tarot, etc. So he messaged me one time saying, in that time frame that him and his partner found a witchy estate sale, and sent me a few pictures as a sample of what they picked up and what it looked like. Of course I fucking jumped on that, right? And yeah, this person, I don't know if she was deceased or just put in a home. I know she was elderly, that's all I know. Don't know much about the backstory. But at one point she owned a small, I guess, witchy and occult store. So it would make sense for what we're seeing. And I'm talking, some of the stuff was in pretty good, decent use collection or condition, and a lot of it was kind of disheveled and thrown all over the place, like barns and garage and like things on that. Books, like I have some in here I may show on this, from like honestly, seen better days, but not as bad as could be, honestly, from like the late 1800s and first editions of things. So of course I got 2 big hauls from there. So if you want to just check out to give even an idea of that, go back and look at those videos. So I found some decks there. When I went, some of them were already picked over, and then the second time I went right after with my husband, because first time I went with my friend, second time I went with my husband right after, the decks were already what I saw and didn't pick up, were already worse. I could kick myself in the ass, but I am very happy and blessed to have what I have, especially for the prices I got for them, which were a steal for many of these things. And yeah, and the rarity of them and the value, and just the strange additions to my ever-extensive growing collection of divination and magical and occult things, and things that just I love to have. So this is going to be a video on, for day 17 of it in the fortune telling, like I said, continuation. Is going to be the Raymond Buckland Secrets of Gypsy Fortune Telling. So this is Buckland's Complete Gypsy Fortune Teller. This is, again, some of this is seen better days, but this is actually in pretty great condition and is intact. So why can't you go wrong with that? And I honestly think it was like, maybe I paid and negotiated. The people that were running the estate sale had no idea of what they really had. But after listening to me and other people I know that visited it, they kind of jacked the prices up the next time I went. So yeah, but by power of observation. But this is the box. Seen slightly better days, but not bad. This is from 1988. This edition is. I don't know if there's a previous one or any after. I haven't really researched, but yeah. And if you don't know who Raymond Buckland is, but you're watching this and you're an occultist, witchcraft practitioner, check him out. He's famous in that world, in this world, should I say. So here's just inside the box, typical box. On that, again, not in the worst condition. Here's the box for reference, and here's the back. So what came in this kit was, I'm not gonna, just for purposes, I don't want to make this video too long and rambly, is it came with a divination mat. This is not going to be a whole full flip through show and tell. It's just a show for one of my Days of Strange and one of my items in my collection that I'm lucky enough to have. So this is a full-size, good table-size mat in excellent condition. Looks like it was barely ever used. Or you can lay out, and it has a spread on it, and it's fun. It's got that whole, got the whole campy gypsy fortune-telling vibe. Much if any of you are familiar with the Gypsy witch fortune-telling cards, yes, that type of thing, along those lines. It's for the fun novelty value, the strange, the unusual, and of course the divinatory value that this gives on different levels. That's all about what that is for me. My practice has a level of everything from the quirky and unusual and campy to something very deep, dark, occult, and esoteric, and mostly everything in between. And that's how I am. Well, in the magic, and of course, in some mundane practical levels. So this came with a book. Books in actually pristine condition also. As you can see, good sized book. Let's see, it looks like it has approximately 219 pages. So a good sized book in pristine paperback condition. Here's this, and to give this a check out, here's the back. Now this has not just the fortune-telling cards that come with it and that divinatory system and an explanation how to use it. It also has things like, for example, domino. As you can see inside, that's another divinatory thing, I believe, or well, I do want to get into. I found a cool set of dominoes last year I haven't worked with, but I do want to learn that divinatory system. I'm sure that it's in my affinity as it keeps calling me, or was calling me for a period of time, but I have like 100 projects I'm working on and trying to teach myself. So it's all about balancing and doing the best you can with the knowledge and resources you have, but expanding and growing at the same time. But yes, you can see another example here. There's all sorts of things like numerology. Let's see. Besides dominoes and the cards. It's got spreads in it. Let's see, things about history. Oh, crystal gazing. Or scrying, of course. I have not read this or studied this. This is on my list of many things. Oh, palmistry. I honestly don't have a big interest. I've had my palm read once. I think, was it last year or the previous year? But, yeah. The reader at the one time, I never went to her, but I always passed her in psychic fairs and talked to her a couple times throughout the years, many years ago, that is talking about from previously, and she was good. This time, honestly, for the price, I paid like $50, supposed to be like a 15-20 minute reading. She read them in like 5 minutes, and I could tell she didn't want to do it, and it was not good. So coming from someone that's a reader, you have to kind of be discerning where you put your resources and your finances at when going to a reader. Trust your intuition. My intuition told me to go to her, but there's points when your intuition, or maybe just from your previous perceptions, maybe things change. But doesn't mean I may not get my palm read in the future. I could see someone else or go to someone else that could be much more well versed and in touch with your guides and intuitive gifts. Or sometimes as we change and our daily experience changes, so doesn't our abilities and gifts. It's all about that, I guess. So the next part of this is the little box for the cards that came. as you can see, for purposes that came with this deck. Has a little white book. Yes, it's a little creased, but doesn't take away from that. Again, I have to work with this. This is on my list of things that I eventually want to work with. And I'm going to show a few cards for the purposes. Here is the backs. So it is more of, I got very small hands, so it fits in the sizes of my hands. That's to give you that traditional playing card stock. So yes. So I'm going to flip through. Well, I'll go show some of these, not do a full flip through on purposes of time. And for those of you that are watching too, I often get rambling. So I'm just going to show you some of the cards to give you an idea or perspective. Now, if you own this deck, ever seen it, work with it, or know someone that does, please comment below. I'm interested in that. And if you work with it, I'm interested to see how it fits into your practice or your collection. Oh, here. I guess it's probably better to show them this way. Yeah, looks like they have to be shown this way. These are not in any particular order. It's just from the order I got them. But this reminds me of something you would find if you were going to say someone going to a reader that you might find in a corner alley or in an old someone working out of their home. You know, sort of like in the Teen Witch movie where Zelda was working from her home. Some places, actually, a lot of people still do that. I read from my home in many cases still. So it has that type of feel. It has a feeling that someone, if you went to a reader back in the past, you would encounter this, you know, in past times or history, or those of different cultures. See, they're not all in one specific direction, you know, that whether it's like, you can see the variant, should I say. And see, you got the traditional playing cards in here too. I can read somewhat, not in a very detailed way, but I can read with playing cards. And I do want to actually, in the future, develop on that too. So again, to exercise my gifts, my knowledge, and yes. I actually thirst and crave anything of the occult, and of divination, of course. And the ability to learn, change my perspective, and all the different things out there that this world and life has to offer, and from the past. And to learn from others. To grow as, not just as a magical spiritualist or a reader, a psychic reader, and intuitive who reads for others, but also on my own perspective. And it also helps me in the mundane life and situations. So again, these are just, this portion here is just playing cards. Another one of these. So yes, so again, this is, just to show another one for perspective. Again, this was just to show you from my collection, one of the awesome finds that I found last year and acquired in my collection, and acquired from the Witchy estate sale, as some of us coin it that know about it and what it was from. the location where I bought these, they were selling a home. It was like a rustic country home, something, you know, in the back thing, which is a lot about the area I'm in and where I kind of grew up from here, about a half an hour from here. That was about 40 minutes from where I currently am and live. But yes, so again, this is the show you is the Buckland's Complete Gypsy Fortune Teller. So it is an amazing kit. I am never going to give that up for my collection unless I really had to for reasons, but probably would be not one I would give up or consider even giving up first. I'm looking forward to working with that when the time is right and the circumstances and energy that I have is right. I have many things go on that I see as things come and go. That's how life is. But yes, so if you watch this Rambles, thank you for doing so. And if you watch any of my series so far, the 31 Days of Strange, thank you. I appreciate that. And of course, I hope this all finds you well. If you like any of my content, please like and subscribe as it helps my channel grow, that I'm reaching others as others reach me with their creative and artistic abilities. And with that, thank you. And blessed be.